Hi everybody, today I wanted to go over some embroidery stitches. I'm going to be going over a basic back stitch, and then I'm going to be going over a couple of different stitches that kind of build off of the back stitch. So in order to start a back stitch, you're going to want to come up through the back of the fabric, and you're going to want to go back down a little bit past where you came up. Now you're going to skip a little bit ahead and come up through the fabric again. And then you're going to go back down right where that last stitch ended. And then you're just going to repeat the process. You can make these stitches as small or long as you want. If you shorten up the stitch, it's a little bit more ideal to use it that way around a curve because it makes the curve a little bit more smooth. The next stitch that I'll be going over is called a whipped back stitch. I'm going to be using the same line of stitches that we used, and I'll show you how to do the whipped back stitch part. In order to do this stitch, you'll want to have a needle that has a blunt tip on the end. It's also called a tapestry needle, and this will be ideal because you're going to be working underneath the stitches you already created, and if you use a sharp needle, they might snag the fabric or the stitches that you already created. So you're going to start out coming up right next to the first stitch that you created, and you're basically just going to start crisscrossing or whipping the thread through your stitches that you already created. And this will create a kind of a candy cane look to it. The next stitch that builds off of a back stitch is called a Pekingese stitch. I've already completed a row of back stitches, and now I'll show you how to do the other part of the stitch. So you're going to come up just slightly below where you started your back stitches. And you're going to come up through the second back stitch. So you're going to skip the first one. Now you're going to come back down through the first stitch and over top of the stitch that you just created. And you're not going to pull it super tight, you're going to keep it slightly loose so it makes a loop. Now you're going to continue the process. So you're still technically skipping a stitch because you just came back through the first one. So now you're going to go up the third one, and you're going to come back down through the second one and over top of the stitch you just made. And again, don't pull it super tight. You're going to want to leave it kind of loose. And then to finish off the stitch, you're just going to go back down through the fabric. Don't pull super tight because you don't want to pull the loop all the way through.